Are
But what episode is it?
live
78 or
on the
79?
YouTube. This is 81.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I am so out of it. Okay,
This
81.
is episode 81.
Did you guys do 2 episodes without me? I really feel like
No.
70.
Maybe. No, you missed one, then you were there for one, then you missed one.
There was some weird shit going on. I don't know.
It's a time paradox of paradoxes of time.
But let me do my 81 real quick.
Although I've been numbering things, so maybe it's just wrong.
Seconds. It could be around 46 seconds. 81. Okay.
Pretty solid, bro.
Thank you. And let's get the finger guns all.
Oh, I missed this. I missed it. I missed having to do this. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to a delicious episode of the PBnJ podcast.
PBnJ.
I'm spoiler alert. I've been doing keto for a while, and I'm gonna take another break from it here shortly. But like, not a full blown. I'm gonna eat Chinese food every day break like last time. That, surprisingly enough, did not work out well.
Well, a Chinese food all day diet does not work out well for anybody.
You know, I gained weight somehow. That's fucking weird.
It's really weird because, listen, I'm not being overly stereotypical, but Asian people tend to be pretty skinny in relationship to most Americans, who we tend to be a bit larger. So when I eat their food, I feel like I should get skinny. Yeah.
Instead, I got fat. I think it's the government. I think the government wants me fat so they can keep closer tabs on me, because they're like, if he's fat,
you can't run fast.
Not only because I can't run fast for when they finally do come for me when I break the big conspiracy, but also because they're like, well, if he's fat, he won't go anywhere, so we can just sit outside his house.
Yeah,
and they're not wrong. I don't.
No, well, how often do you go places? Let's be honest. Right?
I grocery shop at least once a week.
Okay. And that's it.
We're done. I don't know. Sometimes I'll go out with friends and stuff, but I don't have like a bar I go to or anything. Yeah. Most of my stuff that I do is online for hanging out with people, so it's one of those things where I never really travel anywhere. Plus, a lot of the people who want to hang out.
Does VR count?
Yo, if VR counts, I travel through space and time, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's funny.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, no, VR doesn't count.
Well, then no, I'm home shirtless most of the time. I actually had to put a shirt on. I delayed putting a shirt on for as long as I could for this episode.
Yeah. While we were doing planning and such, Bryce did not have his camera on at all.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't want Patrick to look at my nipples.
Yeah. I mean, I might have said something.
I'm not. It's not that I'm truly against it. I just didn't feel like it. Sometimes you don't want to show the goods, you know. Got to keep the mystery alive.
And every time I see him, I always ask about the piercings and the chain. I don't know. So anyway, you might not go do things. No, that's real. Don't let him lie to you.
Yeah, no one ask about it though. Leave that alone.
You might not go do things. But as much as I try not to fucking do things, like seriously, my wife's always like, "Let's go do this." I'm like,
we're gonna do things. And it's like, damn it.
So
I'm over here just like, I should probably do something one day with my life. And I take another nap with my cat.
And you know what? That sounds like a beautiful life. It really does. It sounds like a beautiful life.
But so you go out and do things.
We went to Epcot yesterday, actually.
Nice. Best part of them all.
We went and did it, dude. You know, I will say that I like Hollywood Studios because it's essentially Star Wars land. You know,
well, that's true. I haven't been as much since the Star Wars really started taking over Hollywood Studios, so I might like Hollywood Studios a lot more than I used to now.
You probably would, and we should go. It's sick.
We should go.
We should. So, but Epcot is cool because obviously you can drink there, right? But it's coming to the end of it now, but it was the Food and Wine Festival.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever done it before, but usually in Epcot, there's, you know, a certain amount of countries like around the lake, right? The main part. For the Food and Wine, there's tons more added. like temporary spots.
Yeah, they're like subsections of the other countries that they just take over.
Mm-hmm. And in each place, there is a food and an alcoholic beverage. And it's pretty fucking awesome. The food is, and a lot of stuff like for example, there's one that was burgers, right? And it's like, this is the best burger you're ever gonna have. It was really, really good. Like disgustingly good. No, it was not. However, in full size form, it might be a contender.
Okay, because that's true. They give you like the smaller, like slider style.
Yeah, it was like a little slider. However,
you're going to be eating all around the world, so they're not trying to fill you up in one country.
We had one that was like the Incredible Burger or whatever. It's not real meat.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's the soy burger that has the hemoglobin stuff that it bleeds or whatever.
I guess it did have like reddy gooey spots on it, and I was like, that's gross. But it still was not the consistency proper of meat, right? The cook on it, like the sear on it, was different. However, it was really good.
Yeah, I've heard that those are incredibly good and a fairly meaty burger for like a Boca burger.
Now, I tend to not like Boca burgers, like the big giant ones. I kind of think they're gross. I do like black bean burgers.
Black bean burgers are really good, especially if you get like a Southwest black bean burger.
Yes,
like the corn and a little bit of spicy stuff. So good.
However, I couldn't. I mean, I could tell. Like they're like, you can't tell the difference. I'm like, yes, the fuck you can. Definitely fake.
I have a very discerning tooth. All right. I can tell the difference between meat and
hell. There was some beer we got from like local what are they called? Craft beer.
Yeah.
One of them was from DeBerry, like right where I grew up. Nice. I didn't even know they had a brewery there.
Yeah.
I guess they do. There's some shit called Waffle. Right? Tastes like maple syrupy at the end of a drink. It was gross. I did not like it.
It is a little weird.
I wanted to like it because where it was from, you know.
Yeah. Because there's the brewery in Sanford, and they actually have stuff from the different the different brewers throughout Central Florida. And there's like 2 or 3 different meads that's made in Florida.
Yeah, dude, I haven't had mead, but I've been told by more than one person I need to.
They have the honey. The honey they use is the orange blossom honey. So it has like this slight kind of like orange zesty taste to it. It's so good, dude. I love it.
Yeah. I've not had mead. It sounds good, I guess. You know,
it's wine.
I feel like I need to like dress up in a
Viking outfit.
Yeah, Viking outfit before I drink it. I could put it in my horn thing.
More. Yeah, you're drinking.
Fuck yeah, we should get some mead.
I can
make. So we went to one place and we had like this. So we were getting ready to leave. Jimmy's like my brother-in-law, because we met my brother-in-law and my sister Kathy out there.
Is this pressure?
Because it was their anniversary. God damn it! Yes.
Ask for Jordan. Anyway.
So it's called swine brine.
Really?
And essentially,
that's absolutely disgusting.
That's why we had it. So
swine brine.
So do you want to guess at what it is?
It's bacon juice that became fermented.
You know, I was thinking some weird shit like that. It's Jim Beam.
Okay.
And meat juice.
That's about what I thought.
Okay, so Jimmy's like, we gotta try it. I'm like, all right, I'm in. The girls are like, no, but you know, whatever. I'm here. Let's do it. I've already had 3 beers. I'm like, let's fucking rock. Okay. But then I stopped drinking because I was like, oh, that's right. I live an hour away from here.
Not only that, I drank enough to where I thought swine brine was a good idea. Let's stop.
However, swine brine was very good.
Well, I will say
it even came
very well with savory.
It even came with a piece of meat. like on a toothpick thing, like across the top of the drink.
Oh, those fucking people.
And I ate it. It was good. I'm
Well,
telling you, it was good. And we made both wives taste it, and they even were like, "Hey, that's pretty good."
Never again, but yeah.
Never again, fuck you.
The vegetarian equivalent of the swine brine is the pickleback.
What is that?
Pickleback is
vodka and pickle juice?
No. It's the cheapest, worst whiskey you can find. Like the most burn your throat, disgusting swill whiskey you can buy. And you shoot that down first, and then immediately follow it with a shot of pickle juice. And there's something about the pickle juice that completely cancels out the burn of the whiskey.
Really?
And it makes that whiskey the smoothest shot you ever took.
So I really like pickle juice anyway. So like a lot of people think that's weird, like, oh, that's gross. I'm like, no, pickle juice is the shit. What's wrong with you? But dude, we had some ice cream. I forget where it was from. But they took the ice cream, they scooped it up, they put it in nitrogen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then they called it a truffle something. Put it in nitrogen and then takes it out, puts it on a thing, fucking bashes it so it like flattens down and puts some caramel on top of it. It was amazing.
That sounds so good.
It really was.
I love food science stuff where they use like nitrogen for different things. One of the most, it's absolutely stupid and pointless, and I should hate it, but I really want to try it, is the edible balloons that restaurants have been doing where they fill it up with a flavorful gas, and the balloon itself is like this sugar concoction that it fills and it floats, and you bite into it and you suck in the gas for the taste, and then you eat the casing, you eat the actual balloon, and
it's all
presentation, and it's all just like, stupid. We could do it, so we did. But
okay, but what would be cool is if they could bring you like an appetizer balloon, a dinner balloon, and a dessert balloon, and then each balloon tasted like a thing
that Willy Wonka was making in the chocolate factory, where the piece of
exactly like that, but fucking blueberry pie air,
right, in form. Because I mean, we already have the flavors. Vape is a perfect example of, we know how to make flavors aerosol based,
just like that.
As you hit your dripper.
Yeah. I might or might not have accidentally broke my glass on my fucking vape tank, so I'm using a dripper right now with essentially cloud generators on it.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
I actually haven't vaped in months.
Well, I mean, you're a fucking quitter. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I'm a fucking quitter. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I might pick it up again. We'll see.
How dare you not smoke that stuff?
Yeah, you called me a quitter, so now I'm being peer pressured.
You probably don't even smoke that stuff.
You're right. As I just stated, you are factual. But that's really cool, man. I really wanna do the Food and Wine Festival, because
have you never done it?
I've never done it, because every time the Food and Wine Festival was going on, when I wanted to go before, was when I was a valet, and to go to the Food and Wine Festival would mean I wasn't working the Food and Wine Festival for valet parking, which means I wasn't making rent money, because Food and Wine Festival is lit, especially if you're the overnight guy at a nice hotel. When people come back, there are some hotels that it's just a small ramp, so it's run by one guy. I was that one guy. I made like $180 in tips one night from the Food and Wine Festival, because everyone came back schmammered, and they were just like, "This is the best night ever." Fucking 20.
This is the best night ever.
Yeah, and they just threw a 20 at me. I'm like, "Thank you, sir."
Oh yeah, because they're hammered, and I mean, they're
having a good time. Maybe
I get reckless with money when I get hammered too. I mean,
I think we all do. I think we all do, because when you're hammered, you're just like, I don't even fucking care. And it hurts way less to just toss that money out, which is why you need to drink responsibly. Because holy shit, I made a lot of money when I shouldn't have.
Bro, well, I mean, but there's certain things about Food and Wine. Like when we go, my wife has to go get a grapefruit beer. She fucking loves that shit. And I don't know the brand of it, but it's not like any other grapefruit beer that we can find.
It's the only time I can have anything grapefruit related. Grapefruit is gross to me, but a grapefruit beer, something about it. I think because beer is already bitter, so grapefruit actually just improves it. It's a straight upgrade. Because
it's a straight upgrade.
Yeah, its bitterness doesn't detract from the drink since it's already a bitter drink. So when I'm sipping on a grapefruit beer, I'm like, some reason this isn't as unpleasant.
And yeah, and I think that it's, I don't know. I could drink them. It's just too sweet. Like I can't drink them back to back to back like that. It is, because in order to get the bitter, because it's weird because you think a bitter flavor, but it's still in comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's anyway, it's a fruit that you're drinking. So it is a sweeter beer.
But dude, Food and Wine is so packed. Now, the day we went was during the week, so it was less packed. My wife went the day before, something like that. Her and the kids went.
Okay.
Because the girls like to go and eat food or whatever, so she'll get them gift cards, and then they just go around to where they want to get food from. And like there was some mac and cheese. It was a bit spicy, but it was so good. And that was near the healthy food stuff. But when they went, they went on a weekend day. It was so fucking busy, dude. The line to park was 30 minutes long.
Yup.
Because we're annual pass holders, so they just went to Magic Kingdom.
Black your ass out.
They went. Well, I know, right? They went to Magic Kingdom and then took the monorail to Epcot.
Oh, so does blackout dates apply to per park?
Oh. There's no blackout days for this.
Really?
Most of the blackout days are a large portion of the summer, unless you have the Mac Daddy Pass, right? Which we don't do, because during the summer, if we're being entirely honest, it's so hot. We don't really go that much anyway.
Yeah, because you don't want to go just to melt.
Yeah, you really don't. And if you do, you're going for short little stints. And then there's a bit in the winter time too where it's blacked out, but there's still open time where we can go and do the holiday stuff as well. Yeah. So, but in the fucking summertime, dude, they black you out big time. So, but when we went, it wasn't as busy, but it was still so many fucking people. Yeah. And so many hammered, stinky ass motherfuckers too.
Well, and that's the thing. The reason why Universal is kind of the redneck Disney is because Universal has always allowed alcoholic beverages and throughout the park kind of deal. So it's one of those things where you can see a live Jerry Springer show unintentionally just by showing up at Universal.
Oh yeah, dude.
There are people out there who will just go in fist fights. They'll do all kinds of crazy shit right there in the park. Disney, you don't have that problem because they're a lot more like they hold down the alcohol on lock, and you have to go to like specific places to get it, and it's expensive, so you can't afford to drink to drunkenness usually. And you don't pre-plan to go to this.
I mean, you can though. You can like at Epcot. At Epcot, it is easy to get drunk because there is fucking beer and other assorted drinks every fucking where. Yeah, whether it's Food and Wine or not. But during the Food and Wine, holy cow, because there's so many drinks. But every place you go to, bro, you're dropping between $20 and $30.
Of course.
For a sample of 1 or 2 samples of food and like 1 or 2 drinks.
Yeah.
At every place, and there's like fucking 60 places or some insane shit like that. Probably not 60, but so I mean, I don't know.
There's some people who walk out of there with $500-$600 bills
I guess so.
From everything they did, and it's crazy, but it's just what people do. And you know what? All the power to them. If they can afford it, great. Just don't be drunken assholes in public.
I fucking agree.
I can't handle that, especially not in Disney. Like, you don't expect that shit at Disney.
Well, when you go to Magic Kingdom, or you go to, Animal Kingdom, or you go to fucking, Hollywood Studios, which honestly, for me, Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom are my favorite. And then Epcot, and then Magic Kingdom, sadly enough, because Magic Kingdom is where you go if you want to see families who are here on vacation who did not anticipate how horrible it was going to be at Disney all day.
Yeah. The ones who wore jeans to the park, you just look at them and you're like, oh, because I do that, but that's because I've lived in Florida. I've been molded. I was born in the heat. I was molded by it.
Yes. I'm surprised you didn't do the voice.
I thought about it, but I held back. I was born in the heat, molded by it. I am vain. But they are not. They're from like Wisconsin or something.
I was about to say Wisconsin. That's so funny that you said that.
They're always from Wisconsin. I don't understand.
I don't know. It's just where they're from.
And then they show up, and then they're in jeans, and they'll have like a shirt. Mm-hmm. And what I really love is when they have the button-up shirt, but then they have the undershirt underneath, and you know it's not like a wife beater or something. It's a full-blown undershirt, and you're like, oh, honey.
Dude, or they're pushing around kids. They're sweating their asses off. Their kids are crying. The dad's carrying 4 balloons. The bubble fan. The fucking bubble fan. And you look at them and they're just so defeated. And it's only 4 o'clock. It's only 4 o'clock.
Ride. It's AC.
Mm-hmm. It's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. The kids want to stay for fireworks, but they also want to die because of heat exhaustion. Like it's. That's why living in Florida,
restaurants to sit down because then they know they're going to be paying for food, and they had their little packed lunches.
Living in Florida, you either go in the morning and leave sometime in the afternoon, or you go sometime in the afternoon if you're going to plan on seeing fireworks and stuff. Unless you don't have an annual pass, but that's why we do it. We have annual passes for that fucking reason, bro.
Specific plan, because what we used to do was one of my ex-girlfriends. Her whole family worked for Disney, so we would go to the parks.
Disney World.
Disney World.
Disney World.
Yeah. What we did is we would park hop to all 4 parks. But what we did is we had a very specific plan on everything we were going to do, every single moment, the exact path we were going to take. So that way we could maximize our time in the AC. To balance out the heat. So like we would do this activity. We know the average wait's this long. We know this part of the wait's inside. So only half.
Now it's even easier to do that, Bryce, because you can use the app
and stuff now. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can use the app and shit. So we'll do that kind of stuff too. And I hate park hopping. I fucking hate it because I hate getting on the stinky rail and I hate it. But we've done it.
If you don't you started. It's so rough.
Yeah.
From that final monorail to go back to another park to get to the parking lot to get to your car. Nope.
Dude, we'll do the plan out the day, set our fast passes, all that jazz. But I shows, I like to do that. But Disney fucking's hard to do, and it's the devil if you're not fucking ready for it. But Food and Wine is the shit. And if you go, you should have swine brine because it's good.
I'll keep that in mind.
You fucking should.
I will. I might make my own swine brine.
That sounds gross.
Yeah, it sounds gross when I make it.
Honestly, it sounded gross. Dude, it sounded gross while I was drinking. It sounded gross
in the beginning. You're right. It's fucking terrible. It's basically death. There's probably tens of thousands of heart attacks that are going to happen after everyone's like, swine brine, huh?
I will address, because we're nearing break. We're a few minutes off. I'm going to address something real quick because I know that friends of the show I work with. And they may or may not notice while I'm talking
that you looking so fresh and so clean.
So, okay. I was going to do No Shave November with my friends at work.
Currently, as
Bryce is doing.
My ugly neck beard down here and my mustache that's actually kind of forming a real mustache.
I think you should listen. I think the mustache is fucking solid and you should keep it. I grew my mustache during a No Shave November like 3 years ago.
I might try it. We'll see. We'll see if it can connect, because I can feel hair starting to connect these like right in here to where it'll actually form like the beard situation. If it'll connect, I might keep it.
No, dude, do it unconnected and skinny and talk in an accent. So we So they were already mad because I came to work on November 1st shaved, and I was like, "Well, what? I
shaved last night.
Yeah, I shaved, and we're gonna
No Shave November by being now.
I only made it to the 6th of November. When my wife said, "You should shave that," and I was like, "No, I'm growing a neck beard with my friends at work," and she's like, "No, you're not," and I was like, "All right."
Hey, are you also participating in No Nut November? Because you're not going to be nutting with me with that.
I'm definitely not participating in No Nut November. First of all, fuck that noise. And honestly, we were going on a day thing and whatnot. So my wife asked if I would please shave, so I did. Because and honestly, you hit the nail on the head. If she doesn't want me to do No Shave November, I definitely don't want to do No Nut November.
Yeah.
You feel me?
No Shave November I'm doing, obviously, but No Nut November, I've already done it before. And it's one of those things that I feel like everyone should do once just so they know they can.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's this whole thing where you have a sudden camaraderie with everyone else, and there's the people who are trying to make you fall into temptation who you'll be in these forums full of people who are doing it, and then people will just post random porn and stuff, and everyone's like, no, look away, brothers. Tits are temporary, glory is forever, and like shit like that. And it's cool just for that experience. After you've done it once, you never need to fucking do it again.
You know what? Because me and you, I feel like we're pretty close, and I feel like knowing how it made you feel is good enough for me.
Yeah. I've No Nut Novembered for everybody.
You have, and in fact, if any of our listeners want to also share in Bryce's No Nut November
from the past, because this is not happening.
Good job. So, so you can share some of that love with him. I can't do that shit. But I will say I do apologize, and I'm gonna catch some shit when I fucking go to work tomorrow and don't have a neck beard. I'm not gonna restart it. It was itchy as fuck already. I grow hair pretty quickly, so like 6 days was enough to make me like
start scratching.
Yeah. So
just look at him and say, I had a strange urge to buy a fedora and start saying "milady" to people while tipping my hat. I had to get rid of the neck beard.
Well, what's funny is I tried to make a milady joke to my wife when she told me to shave it, and I was like, "What? I'm trying to grow a neck beard, milady, right?" And she was like, "Oh my god," and just walked away. I was like, "Oh fuck, now I need to shave it." I said milady, and now I have to shave it off.
Yeah, now you have to shave it off, because then you realize, was that really an ironic milady, or am I changing? Oh god! And then
if I turned around and I looked in the mirror, my neck beard was even like it was all the way caught up with the rest of my face.
Yeah, it started to like grow as you said it. Yeah, it's like a werewolf situation.
And you're like, milady, and it grows out.
It's like, oh god, men need more rights. Oh shit. Oh god.
Oh fucking shit.
I think we should go to break because I want to. So that's that.
I need to get a refresher of El Drinkosaurus. So yeah, but when we come back, I have a conspiracy thing that I was going to talk about.
Oh yeah. And I want to talk about some crazy benders that some people you may have heard of have had that are borderline unbelievable.
Okay. Well, I'm in, man.
I fucks with it.
I fucks with you.
I fucks with you too.
All right.
That's why we No Nut November, nevermore. All right, folks. See you after the break.
I stopped my recording. I'm gonna save it just in case,
Oh, that's a good idea.
Voodoo.
I need to be more paranoid about this.
I just don't think we can redo that. Anyway, welcome to break. People who watch us in video format, I know you exist because I see the thingy.
I see the thingy down on the screen. You watching me podcast. That's all I got.
They don't write to me.
They don't write to me. Look, I ain't saying you a quiet lurker, but they ain't writing to no podcast jerker.
I guess. I fucking guess so.
I have some regrets about what I just did.
No regrets, Bryce.
No regrets.
So, the Avril Lavigne thing probably won't go very long. Oh, spoiler alert, I guess. People on the video format. You get to know what we're talking about first because you're here.
You're welcome.
But, I'm going to talk about the background of it. How crazy the idea of that is.
Yeah.
A couple of bits of information that's been given.
Okay. It's been a while since I've talked about it even, so I barely remember it. I just remember
exactly. And then her direct response on a radio interview just on the 31st of October.
Fuck yeah.
So there's that, and then slide by check.
I think
and then I didn't talk about Christmas or creepy attic stuff, but I'll save that either based on the time we're at or for just next week. We'll see where we are after you talk to us.
Okay. I might mention a few things about a few examples of science just being shit on by movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as like a warm up, just like a quick run through. We'll see. I might want to.
I'm into that. I think it's a good idea, personally.
I need to make it to where they're good examples that would capture the thing I want to talk about the movie in that moment without going on a rant about the entire movie. Because there's several movies, and that would be a lot of rants.
So I'm hoping that for next week I have a new video camera for our new webcam.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And honestly, I'm like I told you, I'm thinking about getting a green screen.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah, because then I can use OBS, I think, here, and then use it as the video input for
I'm pretty sure you can. I haven't talked with it, but I know you can create inputs to it, and if anything, you can use Manycam.
Yeah, there you go.
To create the virtual camera and then use it. All the stuff it has, but
because my video stream will just be me constantly sitting in some kind of spaceship or something.
Yeah, and maybe the monster actually has like different stuff.
I could just get
like pictures.
I'll take a picture of him like in different positions and like put him places in the background. Yeah. I'd be able to do this. See, and that's why I want a green screen. But I need a better camera. Apparently, there's some cameras that I guess are designed to do that, or is that a sales gimmick?
They're designed for it in that it's better at balancing light. Because one of the biggest problems with green screens is unless you have a decent lighting setup where you can keep the light balanced, the shade of green will change based on how much light is on it. So you get like this weird like opaque effect where there are parts of it that are perfectly translucent, but then you'll get like these hot spots of like shadow.
Yeah, I've seen that. But so that's why you need like
a light in front of you so it balances all
like
that
those white square white lights.
So that way, yeah. Honestly, just a powerful lamp that doesn't have a shade on it. Like if you use like one of the higher end white bulbs, you know what I'm talking about, the really bright ones, and no shade on it, and just stick it in front of you. A lot of times that clears that
shade.
But the cameras that do that are better at translating between the shadow and the green to kind of mesh it, so it works better. So it's technically not a sales gimmick, but you probably want to do the lights anyway. So at that point, once you have the lights, it would be a sales gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're trying to do everything on a budget to where the lights are not feasible, either because of space or something similar, then they're good for that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it would be neat. Plus, there's another thing that I don't know if you pay attention to those chat rooms, but there's another thing that I would like to get started doing, which I think that would be fun.
Which chat room are we talking
about? With Neil and
the Better Boobs Boom.
No.
Spoiler alert.
This one is called Tube Show.
Oh, yeah. And the green screen would be important for that, so that's true.
Because and plus Neil has a Elgato.
Oh, really? The really nice capture card.
So he has one of those, And we're thinking about like a cool little round table-y type thing. I think it'd be neat.
Yeah. He gets gameplay footage using that, and then we could talk over it, kind of deal.
Exactly. Well, I can't talk on it. I can't tell you about it here. You need to go back and read that because there's a really cool idea that we had.
I vaguely remember something about it, and I won't say it because of the same reason, which is, hello, everybody on YouTube.
Exactly. We are totally live. The things that we talk about, you'll notice that I'm being pretty vague on, and I apologize for that. It's for no other reason than
we want to keep you in the dark.
Yeah, we haven't done anything with it yet.
Throw you in the dark.
So we don't trust you.
For all we know, your Fed's looking for mushrooms. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Shit.
Always trying to catch me riding dirty and shit. I need to get. Did I cross the line? I need to go get a new drink real quick. I will BRB.
I'll stay here and entertain the masses.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off my mamma.
This is the break. Hello, everybody, and welcome to break. We've been on break for a while, but I'm re-welcoming you because this is the solo butter break. So, we got to be smooth like peanut butter. Unless you like your peanut butter crunchy, then not like peanut butter, just like regular butter. So keep that in mind. But I'm here to tell you guys, and I fucking love you. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us during these fun little things. It's a great way for me and my friends to stay hanging out, stay chilling, talking, because we don't share the same smoke break area anymore. And the fact that we get to invite you all into our crazy little conversations is really exciting. And I'm glad that you guys enjoy it. I'm also here to tell you that I don't know. That's it. That's all I got. Fuck it. Thought I was going to come up with something on the spot. Improv failed me. It happens. Supposed to say yes and. I said no. I kind of want to start going over this list a little bit, but I want to save it for the show. Makes me sad. All I got to say, all right, there's one thing I'll say, and this is going to be the break exclusive. Everyone who's ever seen a movie where something gets shot in a ship and the air pressure opens up and everything, and the ship's pressure, bursts open, and it's like, oh my God, everything's getting sucked out. And sometimes they'll have like the little hole, and someone gets sucked through the hole very gorily. It was in like Jason X, or Jason in Space, as some people call it, and the bad alien movie, Alien Resurrection. Though there's more than one bad alien movie now. Fuck. That's right. They came out with that. Prometheus doesn't count. But they did come out with the actual alien branded movie that was terrible. I don't even remember the name of it. It was so bad. But fuck it. When you have a hole in a spaceship, if the spaceship is pressurized to be like Earth's air pressure, it's not going to rip out like people. Like, you're not going to get your guts sucked out through the hole. It would, if you lie on top of a hole that's sucking the air out, that the air is going out, it would feel like weighing under like a 10 to 20 pound weight. So you'd feel like pressure on you, holding you there, but you could lift yourself off of it without losing parts of you. And you could plug a hole with your belly fat without it ripping you to shreds. Because Earth's air pressure just isn't as intense as the movies make it. And that's something that's been bothering me for a while, and I had to get that off my chest now.
Oh, what?
Since we're in the break and I was going solo, I decided to just do one of the things I wanted to talk about for space stuff, and this is like the exclusive break version.
Nice.
Which is when you have a hole in a spaceship, and in the movies someone gets sucked out through the hole, even if it's like the sides of a card, and then they just gorily get sucked through.
Yep.
Not real in any way. Sure, air would erupt out of it, but if the ship is pressurized to be like Earth's air pressure, you could lay on top of one of those. You would seal it. It would suck on you, but you would feel like the equivalent of like a an 8 or a 10 to 20 pound weight holding you there. So you could pick yourself off of it. It'd be a thick suck, but it would be something to where you wouldn't be ripped to shreds.
Yeah, it would.
Get out of the ship if it was a tiny hole. Now the ones where there's a bigger hole, that would cause problems, but not for the reasons you think. It'll cause problems because you can't seal it with your body, so you'd have to hold on to the edges, and then it's like a 20-pound weight pulling you down. And that's different, but it's still a situation where you wouldn't be like shot out so fast that you have no time to react. Like Spider-Man in the iron suit in the Avengers movie, he wouldn't have had nearly as much trouble with the air pressure, unless the air pressure for that ship was like some alien planet's air pressure.
Yeah, like 3 times.
Yeah, like where it was a heavier situation. But then at that point, I feel like, because air pressure can kill you just as easily as lack of oxygen can. If you go somewhere with heavier air pressure, your eardrums will rupture, and you'll die. That's just how that goes. Yeah. Your lungs will fucking crush. So the fact that there were humans on there who weren't in iron suits, i.e. Doctor Strange, unless he was constantly emitting magic to prevent his lungs from being crushed, I don't think the air pressure was that much higher. So I think that was more of this is a cute way to get rid of this guy, and no one will question it because it's Hollywood magic. But 100% fallacy.
Well, thank you for rooting that for me.
You're welcome. I'm here to eat ass and kick it, and the bubblegum stuck to my shoe, so I can't kick it anymore. So ladies. So I'm ready to come back when you are.
Okay.
How do we want to do the comeback? I mean, I can't really call it a comeback because I never left the motherfucking stage.
That's true.
But yeah, I'm ready. Do we want to start with your thing? Do we want to start with my thing?
Well, I mean, you're bringing us back, so you can go right into your thing.
Okay. What I can do, I can do the sciencey stuff first and just be like, I need to get this out since I started it on break. And if you want to see what that is, kind of plug our break. And then I can do rapid fire a few of the big ones. And then and they're short little quick things.
Yeah.
And then I'll swap it over to you, and then we can do the benders. The celebrity benders or whatever,
Yeah, that sounds good to me, man.
Sick nasty.
Let me get my shit ready to the recordings again. There we go. Okay, let's do it.
All right, I'm recording as well, so I'm going to get the guns out. 3,
2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, welcome back from the break. If you saw the break, you're welcome. If you didn't see the break, we had a good time talking about secret things that are coming into works that are classified, redacted.
It is fully classified, redacted.
Yeah, so don't bother even looking for it because it doesn't exist. But also, while Patrick went to go get a drink, I had to get something off my chest, and I think it sparked something within me.
Yeah, and I missed most of this. He did fill me in, so
yeah. So if you want to get the exclusive break bonus factoid, you can watch our break and our entire episode where we're funny guys on camera, rather than just
we are haha funny guys on camera.
We're haha funny guys on camera and in your ear holes, but you can see us with your eyeballs, so that's nice. You can go to youtube.com/PB podcast and enjoy this episode. But I need to talk about some Hollywood bullshit that they always seem to come up with that really bothers me. And
hold on, you mean if I switch gears 19 times in my car, I'm not gonna go faster?
Correct. Oh my god, that's so weird. They do it in every single movie. Like the Transporter is infamous for it, where it'll just be bald guy McFuckface, Jason Stratham, blah blah blah.
Statham?
Yes. And he'll just go ham on that gear shift, and the car
dude.
It'll start making louder and louder noises. I'm like, how many fucking gears does that car have? Is this a future car?
Hold on. Like, and isn't he usually driving like a high-end Audi? Aren't those all like automatics with Tiptronic shifters in them?
Yes. Everything about it just doesn't make sense to me at all.
In Fast and the Furious, it's worse though, and you know it.
Well, no, the Fast and the Furious is way worse for so many reasons, but they have like the paddle shifters in cars that shouldn't. Like they just threw it in there because they thought it looked cool, I guess. And you just look at it and you're like, that's a terrible. Why?
Yeah. Why do you have paddle shifters in this van?
It's a Honda. It's a 2003 Honda Civic. Stop it. Like,
stop it.
That's what it feels like. But
yeah,
I mean, and don't even get me started on some of the physics in the fucking movies. Like when they drive the car out of one building and crash it into the other building to land on a floor in that building and drive throughout that building. One, those windows are designed for like storms to throw debris, much smaller and able to pierce glass easier at such a high rate of speed that
I think they would have made it through it, but I think the car would have been destroyed.
The car would have been totaled and they would have been dead.
That would for sure. Yeah. The impact. How fast do you think they had to be going across between those fucking buildings?
To get across the buildings in such a way to where the car doesn't lean forward enough to where it goes straight
in and smashes them against the fucking wall. Yeah.
The tires would land. They'd have to be going easily 80 or 90. In my opinion,
and then when you hit the glass at that speed,
that's concrete. You just hit concrete. Like your ribs are broken from the seatbelt, bare minimum, right? And then the car is not that shiny, pristine thing that they had it be at the end of that stunt. It's totaled.
Well, I thought that they jumped out and the car ended up flying through.
Well, I could have swore there was a movie where they actually drove. It was in like Dubai or something where they were in the car and they drove to escape one building into the other,
into the next one, but it ended up going out the other side.
Well, yeah, they jump out when they make it to the other building. They jump out of the car once they land, which also not possible. Like inhuman reflexes for that speed and for it to have enough force to continue through on its own and go out the other side of the building. The moment you jump out, that's not like carpeted floor, which has its own problems with like rug burn and shit.
Yeah.
That was like a tile ass floor. You're dead. There's so many things that kills you there. It's not even funny, but you see, you got me talking about Fast and Furious. I'm trying to do rapid fire different movies.
Andrew wants to know. Actually, he says, you mean, so you're saying they should have Paul Walkered them going from one building to the next?
Yeah. Paul Walker is what happens when you grow up on a Fast and Furious movie and you don't understand science.
Yep.
You end up like Paul Walker, which is unfortunate.
Unfortunate and sad. But
he was going really fast in that car and he decided to fight a tree and the tree won. But
I fought the tree and the
tree won. So I'm just going to rapid fire a few movies without hyper focusing and going on a rant. Okay. Every Superman movie in existence ever. If Superman, like they usually have at some point in the different plots for not just the movies, but for like the comics and things like that, they'll have something where a giant something is thrown and Superman will catch it, be pushed back, and then he's able to push it off, right?
Yes.
Like a giant meteorite or a big ass vehicle. Here's the thing about that. If you focus immense strength against a very small area of a very large object, you wouldn't move it. You would pierce through it. That's just surface area. He becomes a knife blade and the object becomes, with all of its force,
unless he's able to, like to us, it looks like he's pushing, right? But what's really happening is he's pushing, letting back, pushing, letting back, pushing, letting back, like.
I mean, in theory, that's possible. But even during the initial impact, where he's pushing, letting back, pushing, letting back, pushing, letting back, he would have into it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Especially for how big some of these things are. Some of these are like planet-ending meteorites that he just stops in space, which so many reasons why that wouldn't work. But the biggest one is he would just cut through it with his body, and maybe with the force of that, it would cause it to stop.
Okay.
But
my favorite one is X-ray vision, and how X-ray vision would be so fucking horrible.
We had an entire episode dedicated to that. Do you remember that?
I think we did. Yeah.
We went ham because we came up with the theory with our buddy Ben when we were all talking and smoking the vapors, and we realized that Superman had been giving everyone cancer, and we had no idea.
Yeah. Because X-ray vision is horrible. It's killing everyone around you.
There's a reason why they put a lead vest on you when you get X-rays done. It's because X-rays kill you.
Yeah, but hold on. There's another problem with that. That means that if he's emitting them, right, he has to then receive them back.
Yeah.
So X-ray vision in general, impossible.
Yeah, unless he has some sort of control over X-rays, and we went into a whole thing with that. I don't remember what episode it was. Listen to every episode we ever had. You'll find it. Yeah. You're welcome, bro.
Oh, shit.
Another one I want to talk about. This one I'm not as mad about, to a certain degree.
Okay.
A lot of people saw the Da Vinci Code, right?
Yeah.
Very good movie.
That's one of those boring-ish movies that I enjoy. Yeah,
it's one of those boring-ish movies that also has like enough like truth nuggets in it to where you're like, well, that's almost plausible.
Yes.
A lot of it's just like, no.
Well, what it's doing is it's plugging in like, here's this real thing and here's this insane idea behind it, that this idea exists in real life, so this is why it's real.
Yeah. They had another movie, Angels and Demons, which is the sequel to the book and is the sequel to the movie. And in that movie, spoiler alert, there's a bad guy who attempts to use antimatter in order to destroy the Vatican. And the effect of the antimatter is accurately shown in the film. I was actually surprised with how much care they put into like explaining it and making it as scientifically accurate as possible. The problem is the amount of antimatter that they were talking about him using would have taken billions of years to create. With our understanding of antimatter and with our very limited like technologies, it would have taken billions of years to make.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, not only that, but the only way we can even make it is through the Hadron Collider.
Exactly.
And it takes it's super ridiculous. Actually, you know what's funny is they just had a whole conversation about that on Doctor Who. So
really. I haven't seen the new Doctor Who. How is it so far?
I really like the chick, Jodie Whittaker. I'm not gonna go into it because I don't want to bore people, but I think she nails it, spot fucking on, honestly.
Fuck yeah. I heard she was really good, so I'm glad to hear that it's working out. Another one that I wanted to talk about, because this made me mad when I saw the movie. Did you ever see Gravity?
Yeah, that's the movie where they're floating in space, or the one chick's floating in space or whatever. Yeah, I did not watch that movie. I only watched bits and pieces of it while at work.
Well, that's true. Projector status. Here's the problem that I find with that movie is at one point, spoilers for everyone who hasn't seen it, George Clooney's character in Gravity, he sacrifices himself by cutting a cable that ties the two of them together. So Sandra Bullock won't drift. The problem is, at the time, he's not being pulled by anything, not even by gravity. So a gentle ass pull from Sandra Bullock's character would have brought him back, and he would have been fine.
Yes.
But instead, he cuts the wire and drifts off into space and dies.
Yes.
And as a scientist, I feel like he would have known that. So I can't even do the argument of in the heat of the moment he was.
So hold on, was she holding on to something?
It was a situation where she was holding on to. Well, they were both drifting, but it was a situation to where he didn't have any kind of force on him. He was just out there, and she kind of drifted a little bit, but she could get to something. But she would miss if he pulled her along or something similar. but it was one of those things where the smallest amount of force, which would have affected her trajectory, granted, because, you know, basics dying.
Well, she would have applied. So if she pulled even the tiniest bit, it would have moved her in that direction and him in her direction at exactly the same
right, at the exact rate that she pulled. The thing is, she already had force affecting her to a certain degree towards another object. So if she did that slight pull, it would have pulled her away from that slightly and slowed her trajectory, but it would have caused him to come along.
Yeah.
And instead,
yeah, but okay, I'll forgive. I'll forgive movies and TV series for not doing space physics the way that it actually is. Mostly because it's insane. Like you see dogfights in space, and they're like that. That's not how it would be. There's no, it's not. You don't fly in space. You push yourself in a direction. You go that direction infinitely until you hit something, or you apply opposite force in the opposite direction. So I don't give it to me. The worst one out of everything you just said is the Fast and Furious shift gears 19 times thing. That fucking annoys the balls out of me.
I will say another one that is pretty similar to that is do you ever see I mean, you've seen Speed, right?
Yeah.
The bus must stay above 50 miles an hour or the bomb explodes, that whole thing. At one point they jump a ramp of sorts across like an unfinished overpass.
Okay.
Because they can't stop. And so one of the overpasses is higher than the other, so they just floor it and they go across. But the problem is it like picks up and then lands perfect to where the back tires hit the edge of the thing and then the front tires land on it. Whereas in reality, gravity would have caused the front of the bus to just go straight forward the moment it went off the ramp.
Yeah. It would not have went upward.
Yeah, it pops up even though it's a flat surface.
No. So well, I mean, you don't know, bro. They might have like hit the hydraulics at the right time. Hit the drones,
man. In Star Wars, whenever a spaceship blows up, it immediately stops and starts heading down.
Don't talk about Star Wars
because in space there's no friction. It can't stop. All those debris would continue going forward at the same rate or out in the explosion radius. The ship stops and crashes just like as if it was an airplane.
They do.
They do.
Listen, hold on. Physics, Star Wars is not a science fiction. It is a science fantasy. And because of that, that's what I'm talking about. Their little fighters fly around like they're fucking jets. And their ships, their big ships fight like they're Navy ships on the water.
But the ships that are flying around like jets, they fly the exact same whether they're in space or on a planet's atmosphere.
But because it's a science fantasy, you're just supposed to say, okay, well, whatever technology makes it work that way.
Yeah.
You know,
the gravity that turns on the gravity when it blows up, even if there's no gravity.
Do you know what I won't? I have a harder time forgiving things like The Expanse, for example, that prides itself in being very, very, very
fiction-y science.
Yeah, like pro science. When they do something silly, right? And they're like, well, it's future tech, you know? I'm like, okay, well, I can accept it as future tech because it is science fiction, but
I'm gonna need that future tech to make a little more sense.
Yeah. It's easier to if you made this like a science fantasy kind of thing from the beginning, because there's a difference. Yeah, there's a big difference. But I allow Star Wars to do what the fuck they want because I love them. What?
I understand. That's what I'll do, and then we'll move on. But have you? I watched Pacific Rim recently, and this is another thing that kind of bothers me because they did the same thing.
There's so much wrong with Pacific Rim.
Well, there's a lot wrong with Pacific Rim science, but the biggest one for me, I know this sounds silly to have this the biggest gripe, but towards the end of that movie, again spoilers, they decided to destroy the Kaiju's lair by detonating the nuclear reactor that powers Gypsy Danger.
Yes.
A nuclear power reactor can't be detonated like a nuclear bomb. It's not the same. You can have a radiation leak and have it be like a disaster in that regards to where it's the fallout.
So
explosive power, those reactors are only enriched to like 4 to 5%, whereas a nuclear bomb material is like 90% enriched uranium. So like,
this is what I'll say.
It's not exploding.
Hold on. This is what I'll say. I don't think that, even though they explained it that way, I don't think that it was the nuclear explosion-y type thing, even though that's what it was. I think that they overloaded the reactor to the point where it caused something else to explode. Like maybe it's a secondary fuel source or whatever. It has to be burning something also, because sometimes it shoots flames out in front of it.
Yeah. The only other thing is in Metal Gear Solid, they also do it. They almost get away with it because they have some sort of weird, it's called metallic archaea. Don't get me started on that, but
okay.
It's basically magical enzymes that are ancient parasites that somehow eat depleted uranium and turn it into yellow cake. And they can do it instantly. They also can rust all metals except for the metals you have for some reason.
Seems legit.
Fucking stupid. But it's supposed to somehow turn, how they made it work is they somehow turned all the armor plating, which was also uranium plating, turn it into enriched, and then if it melted down, the whole thing was a nuclear bomb at that point, which at least then it's kind of in the realm of fantasy science with the whole I have a magical organism that
thing. Yeah. Pacific Rim was leaning on being, hey, this is us in the future.
Yeah. So it bothers me, but I'll leave that alone for now.
No, it bothers me too. There's a lot wrong with that. Like, why didn't they just specifically patrol the one little spot in the ground where stuff could come out and attack it while it came out? Why was that? Why didn't they just do that? I don't understand. Why was there not a minefield down there?
We have a minefield for South Korea.
Yeah, why was there not a minefield this way? And you know what? This way, the mines go off, it kills the first whatever. Now you know, hey, now we got to go down there and patrol. Then you go down there with your big ass fucking robots and patrol the hole in the ground. I don't understand what's so hard about this.
No, that entire movie should have been, they should have switched the protagonist. It should have been, oh God, what's her name? The Asian girl. I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
It should have been her as the main character because we get to see in her whole plot synopsis of her history.
Have you watched the second one? The newest one?
I haven't seen the second one.
Oh, okay.
So I don't watch it. I'll watch it. But it shows her like running away from the kaiju. And so you would be able to, from the beginning, know her motivations as a character is her parents were killed by kaiju and she saw her entire country destroyed by kaiju. There's a reason why she wants to do this. Instead, we get generic space marine McFuck who has no reason to be there other than America. I'm going to save the world. And like, you don't really vibe with him. Like, I would have thought it was way cooler if we got.
You do through his relationship with the girl.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's the entire thing. He grows more into it because of her. We could have just had her from the beginning, and then we would have already been there. That's just my thoughts on it. That movie is not the best. It's still a fun, it's a great excuse to watch.
It's still very, very fun.
Shit out of some fucking kaiju. That's cool as shit, but it's got its problems.
It does.
I'm gonna before I go off on every other film that I have.
I'm gonna take over. Don't worry, everybody.
I'm starting to.
I have something right out of Conspiracy Corner.
Ooh.
And a response from the person. So. This is actually something Bryce has talked about in the past. It's something you've told me about.
Hold on.
What's that?
Oh God.
What?
I don't think it's been recording for a little bit.
No.
What time do you have it for? We can take it from the YouTube. We'll take the audio from the YouTube show. It's fine.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, I just saw that my Audacity stopped at some point, and I don't know when. I'm triggered.
Oh, no way. That's awesome. Well,
we'll pull it from the YouTube.
It'll be medium quality audio this week.
I don't know what happened. I must have a hotkey bound to Audacity. I must have hit at some point because it was recording and now it's not.
That's fucking funny.
I'm really mad. But we'll leave that alone. The show must go on. So yeah,
the show must go on. It's okay. It's okay, buddy. Don't worry.
We all have technical problems sometimes.
We all have testicle problems.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
So anyway, this is about a story about Avril Lavigne.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how apparently there is a theory that she died somewhere between 2002 and 2005.
Yep.
And was replaced by a doppelganger named Melissa Vandella. So to give a backstory, right? On the surface, they say that it's ridiculous, and it kind of does sound a little silly, right? But they say that there's plenty of evidence. So they essentially go into it began with this blog spot, essentially in Brazil. Right, this is where this fucking started. That she became so overwhelmed by the pressures of fame. Right, her management team hired a lookalike to go to public events and shit. Right, now that's real. That's common. Now, whether or not that's real in this instance, in 2003, her grandfather died. They say in her grief, she took her own life, and from that point forward, Melissa took over as Avril. From that point going forward. And there are so many people who, and I will say that when you look at the pictures of past and present, she does look different. However, if you look at pictures of me over years, I look like a totally different person. And I'm me, I think.
I mean,
and there's these pictures essentially of like her arm, like she's facing you, and they like have these circles all over her arm, and they're like, look at this is different. And then like these pictures of her face and how like the wrinkle on her face and the shape of her nose and all this other shit. The funny part is in all of the pictures, while be it a slight, she's facing a different way. The perspective is different.
Yeah. Now, that's one of the things I love about internet detectives is they always just draw a bunch of circles all over everything. And they're like, look, this is the evidence. The circles could have nothing in them.
Yeah.
People will look at all the circles and be like, look at all this. This must be real. There's circles there.
And then there's this thing about, look at her eyes. The corners of her eyes are shaped completely different. You might look different, but your eyes always look the same.
Will make her eyes look different.
Not only that, her makeup is totally different in both pictures. And again, perspective.
I don't know about that cat eye.
Perspective is something that you can never explain to a flat earther, for example.
It's a fish lens. God, you guys are such sheeple.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, this has been going on for a while. Now, this clip that I have that I listened to, she was in an interview with a radio host on an Australian radio station. Okay. And they were like, what do you think about the conspiracy? And the only response she gave was, yeah, some people think I'm not the real me, which is so weird. Like, why would you even think that?
Yeah.
And that's all she had to say on it. So
that's so weird. Why would you even think that?
Here's my question.
Confirm it.
Do you think, well, no, so that's her denying it essentially.
Yeah.
And then the internet exploded with, oh, you don't say, and no, like that kind of stuff. Like, the fuck did I just read? Like that. Yeah. And they're like, it confirms that she's not dead and was not replaced by a body double. Well, first of all, I don't think it was real, but let's say it was. Wouldn't she just say that she wasn't?
Yeah, like there's no point in asking.
No, seriously. And not only that, but
like if she's been replaced by a body double, that means that she has agreed to live that life. Why is she going to admit it now? Hey, by the way, I haven't been her, but I'm the one you love for the last 10 years, so come at me.
Well, yeah, and then there's she's the singer now. I mean, and you can go by a pseudonym or a stage name or whatever. So I'm sure that there's something legal there that's not cool though. If that's real.
I would be incredibly shocked and surprised if we didn't have some sort of paper trail that was easily followable.
Oh yeah. Well, there would have to be in order for the production company to protect themselves or whatever. They would have to fucking do that.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where,
what if we're all fake? So I just look over here and Andrew's commenting in our fucking chat room, life model decoy. What if we're all fake? What if we're all in a simulation and her code is broken and now we're noticing her code is broken?
Elon Musk with weed.
Elon Musk with weed. I mean, honestly, we've talked about the simulation thing before, and I can.
Oh, we've gone in great detail on it. And
yeah,
the simulation. I don't think we're gonna waste computational power on some bullshit like this.
No, yeah, I don't think so.
Off if it was a simulation, you know.
So, well, I mean, and if it is a simulation, I wish they would have written me in with more money. That'd be great. Can I get a cheat code?
Hello, I need $1 billion, please.
They're like, no, you got to go grind for 48 years, and after the grind, then you can have some actual playtime. So, I don't know. I don't think that that's actually enough evidence to say she's not a body double. So more to come in the future. More to come in the future.
Hell yeah.
Moving on. Mine was a bit short. But did you want to do one more thing? I know there was something you were kind of excited about.
Yeah. One, I'm just gonna type in motherload and get 50,000 simoleons.
Oh yeah, not gonna help you.
Figured out. I went ahead and I hacked the planet.
Hack the planet. I need
planet. Fucking that movie. It's so dumb. I wanted to talk about. Technically, I wanted to talk about Batman, but there's other people as well. But the big one
Batman
is
I am Batman though.
The Adam West Batman and Frank Gorshin, his Robin. Or no, he wasn't Robin. He was the Riddler. The Riddler. Adam West's Batman is like the old 60s cartoonish live action Batman where he would have like the bomb that he would like run away with to try and get rid of it. And it's like the giant cartoon ass it's a metal ball with a fizzy rope on the top. And he's just running through the streets like, oh, I got to get rid of the bomb. Oh, kapow. And like, tosses it in the ocean to, stop it from blowing up, that kind of shit. Well, Adam West and
hold on. I put on old school Batman once in the living room, and my wife was like, "What is this? Is this supposed to be like a comedy version?"
They took The Dark Knight and they did kind of make it a comedy. It was so cartoonish and wacky.
It was definitely wackadoodle. That's for fucking sure.
He's such a trippy guy in general. Just his voice alone makes everything. Like Adam West's character in Family Guy is just Adam West in real life.
It is, yeah. I gotta say that costumes have come a long way.
They have come a long way. He has actual bat ears, not like bat little horns. But one of my favorite stories about them is him and the Riddler, they got super drunk and they decided to crash a Hollywood party. They heard about this Hollywood party and they didn't get invited. And they're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to show up, and we're going to show up as Batman and the Riddler. So they go in full costume. They crash this party. And it ends up the Hollywood party they found was actually an orgy.
No, the fuck it wasn't.
It was just a giant ass orgy. So they walked in. And they just start laughing their asses off because they couldn't believe what just happened. That they just found like a fucking, what was it, Eyes Wide Shut or Third Eye Blind? What was it? The fucking, oh god,
with the orgy?
Yeah, the orgy scene with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise.
I don't remember.
Basically, it was one of those like socialite. Everyone has masks and they're all fucking each other. And they just showed up as Batman and the Riddler in the middle of this bullshit. And they're like, holy shit. And they just got they got giggles, and they got kicked out. They were immediately expelled from the orgy.
I mean, they did it wrong.
They did do it wrong.
Yeah, they did it wrong. Wrong costume.
Funny because Adam West ends up he had more of a free lifestyle, so that wasn't the only orgy he would go to, but that was the one he accidentally went to. Apparently,
so there's orgies he went to on purpose then.
Yes, it was one of those things where there were bat groupies even back then for that wacky ass one. But granted, they were more limited to quickies. It wasn't really orgies, more like sessions with multiple people. But yeah, it's just insane to me that they showed up as Batman and the Riddler to an orgy.
That's fucking awesome.
When you party so hard, you accidentally Batman in an orgy. That's
when you party so hard, you accidentally. You know what? Tonight's show's name is accidentally Batman and orgy.
You know what? That's it.
That's the fucking show name. Oh man.
I also wanted to talk about real quick, just because it is another story I had found recently about just a crazy bender that some celebrities had that was out there. So a lot of people know the Beatles are kind of well known for tripping balls on LSD. That's just one of the things they did. They were the hippie boys. It ends up that how they started doing LSD is they went to a classy dinner party by some of their
fancy dinner party.
It was John Lennon and George Harrison along with their wives. They were having a dinner party held by a mutual dentist friend.
Of course, the dentist has the fucking drugs,
right? Dentist, he offers his last.
Way to hold up the stereotype, buddy.
And he's like, "Do you guys want some coffee before you go?" And they're like, "Yeah." So them and their wives, being polite English folks, they're like, "Yeah,
all right, mate. We'll have some coffee.
We'll take some coffee and we'll leave." Yeah, classy. They drink the coffee. After they drink the whole fucking coffee, the dentist just kind of looks at them and he goes, "Did you know the sugar cubes I used had been soaked in LSD?" And they flipped shit. Lennon was furious and he yelled, "How dare you fucking do this to us?" Because this is early in LSD. So the only thing anyone knew about it is it turned people into crazy assholes.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, granted, drug education back then was really bad. Just watch the movie Reefer Madness if you want to have a good idea about what they thought about drugs. So they were freaking out. The foursome left the party and they're like, "All right, we got to go somewhere relaxing and safe." So they go to a fucking London club, a nightclub. Like, that is not safe.
Yeah, but hold on. They were already messed up. So they were like, "All right, we got to go somewhere safe."
Yeah. They were
at a party
starting to hit. And they're like, "We don't want to be near this dentist guy. We don't know why he gave us LSD. This is fucked up. So we need to bounce. We need to get somewhere."
It is weird for somebody to just give you LSD. It's kind of like the whole idea of somebody lacing Halloween candy with meth. I'm like, I just don't see a meth head giving up their meth for any reason.
That's my whole thing. The only thing with LSD that I can understand why they would do it is because people who do LSD are usually obsessed with the experience to the point where they feel like everyone should experience it.
Yeah, I could see that.
So in the early days of that, if it was something to where they're like, "Oh, there's a big stigma about it, but I want them to have this beautiful experience," fuck it, I'll trick them. That is really rude. Do not drug people.
It is really rude.
Because as much as I
rude.
Free drugs, I would like the choice of my free drugs, especially because I'd like to know what I'm doing. Because for all you know, I have a health condition. If I take that drug, my heart stops. So please don't lace my drugs or lace my food with drugs. Tell me, "Hey, I have these drugs. Do you want some?" I pull out a test kit. We make sure it's the real deal. Then we fucking party. That's all I'm trying to do.
Test kit.
Yeah, I'm going to test kit. All right, kids, take a test kit out for any drug you buy. If the dealer gets upset, don't buy from that dealer because they should understand that you need to protect yourself. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's something that Bryce from back in the day.
Yeah, no, that's back in the day, Bryce. That's St. Cloud Bryce talking. I'm a good young healthy boy now.
He's a young happy healthy boy.
Healthy boy who's not doing any drugs.
Yes.
But they didn't make it past the elevator before they started screaming about an imaginary fire. They all just tripped themselves out into thinking there was a fire. And after the vision field, stopped, suddenly they were all at peace. And they were like, Harrelson described it as having an overwhelming feeling of well-being, and there was a God, and I can see him in every blade of grass. It's like gaining hundreds of years of experience in 12 hours. And Lennon was like, George's house seemed to be about as just like a big submarine. Which he didn't say what color it was, but I mean, take a fucking guess as to what color that submarine was, right?
I don't get it.
Once the LSD wore off, George and John decided that Paul and Ringo had to get in on it. Not only because they wanted to see Ringo shit himself in terror.
That's horrible.
But also because they thought they couldn't relate to them anymore without them having that experience because of how much it changed themselves. And
see, I've heard that. I've heard that LSD actually can unlock this crazy new relationship with how you see everything.
Yeah, it is something,
and it's a permanent effect, but then it becomes something that you want to achieve all the time, and that's
where it can get sketchy. And it's one of those things where hallucinogenics in general, they make you see the world differently because you literally had a different perspective on something you never had before. For some people,
my flat Earth friend said perspective's fake. So you're lying.
Well, yeah. I mean, we should give him some LSD, see if that fixes that.
That'd be crazy,
right?
Mm-hmm.
We should do. You know what? We're not going to do this. Cops who are listening to this episode years later.
Even this pen is round.
What the fuck? We should show up to a flat Earth convention, spike the punch, LSD, watch them all about perspective. Fish lens that, motherfuckers.
No, they'd start running around and be like, somebody put fisheye lenses in my eyes. Fucking rip their eyes out and shit.
Horizon lines make sense. I'm falling for their tricks. Help the lizard people.
Pulls out a fucking cyanide capsule.
Jugglugs, because he's like, they're getting me. I can't. I'm not going down a sheeple. A shepherd chooses.
I am not a sheeple.
I am a shepherdle.
I'm a shepherdle. You're some type of turtle.
Turtle enough for the turtle club? My cat just stepped on my keyboard and is fucking everything up. Will you get up?
Yeah, well, your cat stuck its fucking anus in the camera for a little bit. So
welcome, everybody.
There's that.
Look up to that. That's
but great. I think we're nearing the end of the show.
I have no idea because my stuff's not recording anymore, so we're gonna deal with that now. But
I will say that damn it.
I will say that fuck. Anyways,
it's okay. We'll take the audio from the video and
we'll make it work. We'll make it happen, Kevin. Maybe we can clean it up a little bit and try and salvage it as a high quality version.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. In fact, I might just message Jordan, who we didn't even mention isn't here today because he's totally here.
Yeah, he's just been fapping furiously for all the people who are no nutting.
Yeah, exactly. He's getting the nuts in for you, but yeah, I think that we fucking nailed it. I guess I should say some things. Check us out on Facebook.
Yes.
PB the letter NJ podcast and like Nancy. And it's PBnJ podcast really anywhere. Please email us pbletternjpodcast@gmail.com. Check out our website. You can see all of all of our episodes right there. So that's just pbnjpodcast.com.
You can find the Superman episode we were talking about where we determined that Superman gave everyone cancer.
Exactly. But yeah, so we definitely enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening, and
love you
and goodbye.
Nailed it. I guess you can do everything when you're ready.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the YouTube broadcast now.
Love you guys. You good people.
Yes, we do appreciate.
You smell delicious. I don't know if you know that.
That's weird. Bye.